Hello, fellow posters. Award for most blatantly promoted game. Fallout 4.
Hey you there. It's me, Todd Howard. Have you played Fallout 4? No? Well, you are missing out on the game of the year. It's like Skyrim with guns. Completely open world, dynamic dialogue choices, multiple playstyles. Well, make sure to pre-order the Vault Boy edition so you can use your own version of the Pip-Boy. Make sure to download and play Fallout Shelter. Most importantly, do not forget to get the Season Pass. When you go to purchase your game, don't forget to pick up our 6-pack of Nuka-Cola, made from real canned sugar, exclusively available at your local Target. Have a good one. I don't tell lies. I'm Todd Howard.
IP Twist Award for the best new implementation of an old franchise. Super Mario Maker. Why rehash the same game for years to come when you have your fanbase to do it for you? Jokes aside, even with the consistent game releases in the new Super Mario Bros. Franchise, slapping Super Mario World, Mario Bros. 3, and the original Super Mario into a level creator couldn't hurt. Though, it's practically killed the lunar magic editing community. One could argue that with the simpler tools and countless levels, Super Mario Maker put a nice twist on the same old song and dance. Jet Set Award Future for Best Soundtrack. Undertale. Again, this award is for Best Soundtrack, not for story or visuals. This is an award for music, so there really is no point in me talking over it. John Romero's Bitch Award for the biggest disappointment in 2015. Star Wars Battlefront. So I don't think anyone expects quality from EA anymore, but DICE only recently came under fire from the gaming community for putting out low-quality products. If there was still a glimmer of hope in the eyes of Star Wars fans who wanted a good title, prepared to be pigeonholed. Through incompetent leadership, Star Wars Battlefront failed to deliver. With only 4 maps on launch, a $50 season pass, a grindfest leveling system, and poor hero distribution, the game squandered so much potential. You wonder why it cost $60 on launch. Way to go, EA DICE. You've been made into John Romero's new bitch. Least Worst Award for Least Worst Game of the Year. The Witcher 3. The Polish have done it again. When it seemed like every 2015 entry into the open-world RPG genre would just be bland and repetitive, CD Projekt Red delivered another world-class game set in the universe of Geralt and Rivia. This game managed to tick nearly every box gamers had on their wish lists, a story that actually keeps the player interested without seeming too full of itself, a massive world absolutely stuffed with secrets, monsters, locations, and characters to interact with, a diverse landscape, which was brought to life by an extremely convincing weather and lighting system, and a branching upgrade path that allowed people to build around their style of play, without feeling like only one path was the best. Not too long before release, CDPR caught much of V's ire by looking like the game had been heavily downgraded in the visual department. Many users just saw this as more writing on the wall that consoles hold back developers from making the games they truly want to make. Though on release, while the visuals had been scaled back slightly, it was still absolutely gorgeous. From the rain spattering against your ring-mailed shoulders, or the trees swaying in the growing storm, or the uncomfortable level of detail on the monsters that are quickly closing the gap. The world of Gestalt and Rivendell didn't leave much to be desired in the realms of visuals. And no, Geraldo Rivera doesn't inhabit a completely flawless world. Sometimes the controls or camera can feel a bit wonky, and quests can at times refuse to get marked as complete. But for a game this massive and richly detailed, it's a very small price to pay to enjoy some time with Oi Gelvot of Reindeer. And while most developers are perfectly content just pushing out a game and then maybe giving it a patch once or twice, CD Projekt Red manages to push out huge updates for the game even to this day. Well done, folks. You can't deny the satisfying combat, masterful voice acting and sound design, nor the streamlined inventory system that feels a bit more like the first Witcher game. CDPR have delivered to us something so intensely enjoyable, such an obvious labor of their love, that it feels like we don't even deserve it. And besides, who wouldn't love a guy named Gargamel of Reese's Pieces? So give thanks, shitheads, because The Witcher 3 is your least worst game of the year. Most Hated Award for Most Hated Game of the Year. Undertale. 1 part shitty Earthbound, 1 part shitty Persona, 1 part shitty retarded fanbase. Undertale has many, many flaws. Several elements show the lack of work and thought put into them. The art style is inconsistent and lazy, the story is mediocre, the humor is forced, the actual combat is simple and boring, there's barely any equipment variety and most of the characters are tired cliches. But let's not kid ourselves, we know why Undertale is so hated. It's the fans. The real reason why it's become the most loved and hated game online right now. Kind of like the Donald Trump of gaming. But instead of making video games great again, Undertale made the culture far, far worse. The fan base of Undertale is similar to another 3 extremely hated fan bases. Furries, Homestucks, and bronies. Their obsessiveness, the injection of their shitty fandom into anything they touch, the critical levels of autism reached into its discussion. But most of all, their insane drive to annoyingly push the game onto everyone they know, and then some, wanting everyone they know to play it and love it too. Even if they're not interested, even if they've straight up said no before, even if it's the 10th time you're telling them to fuck off! This not only has the effect of making people annoyed, but the sheer response the game gets also creates unrealistic expectations as to what it's actually like. And when someone cracks under the pressure and finally plays it, oh boy, are they disappointed. So congratulations, Undertale fanbase. This is what your actions have brought you. Undertale is the winner of the most hated game of 2015, and also the new MOP. Hope you're happy. Pixels Are Art Award for Most Pretentious Indie Game. Her Story. See, you just don't get it. It's not his story, it's her story. This is the equivalent of a boring cop reality show in which you have to actually look for footage. The story is not original, the presentation is lackluster, and the twist is just okay. Why is it considered high quality? CDI games weren't considered high art during the 90s, and they aren't now. Plot and backstory for best representation of women. Honey Pop. Bejeweled with naked girls, it's a strange combo to say the least, but the game still gave us quite a playthrough. Though the gameplay is fun and challenging, the real gold here is the girls themselves. A mishmash of different looks, personalities, and fetishes Frankenstein together into different girls led to a general thread civil war. Not to mention, the devs being cool enough to even publish a nude version for the Steam player base to experience. Collecting panties has never been so fun. Just remember that Audrey is the worst girl. Press X to win the award for worst gameplay. Her Story. What the fuck am I playing? That's the first question one could ask as you press the start button and stare off into the abyss. Amy Winehouse telling you that then she didn't do nothing, staring at colored shirt after colored shirt of outfits. Her Story manages to be a game without gameplay, which is more or less a common thing in modern time. What is there to play? The only interactive factor is scrounging through videos and searching in new words. It's not even an FMV game, as there's no QuickTime event to be aware of. The fucking 3DO was more of an interactive experience than Her Story. Imagine if your retarded cousin brought you a jigsaw puzzle for your birthday, but then he did the pieces around your house and tried to charge you $6 to try and put it together. Actually, wait, that's more of a game than Her Story. If I wanted to sit in front of a computer for 4 hours splicing videos together and get nothing in return but boredom and misery, I'd be editing the VGAs like this poor Seal of quality for the biggest technical blunder. Batman Arkham Knight. Batman is here not only because it had an atrocious PC release, the fact that Warner Brothers tried to save money by outsourcing the PC port and then only trying to fix it after refunds started putting pressure on them to pull it out of the Steam store. Arkham Knight is also here as an example for every single shitty port we had in the last few years and how cynical publishers are getting. They can't even bother to give you a working product to rip you off anymore. Self-Insert Award for Worst Character. Alphys. On the same vein as ironic shitposting is still shitposting, an ironic shitty weeaboo annoying lizard is still a shitty weeaboo annoying lizard. Alfie's existence in the game just drags down the already low standards of the game's character writing. Worst of all, she is unkillable. This wouldn't matter in any other games. However, Undertale prides itself on giving the player the choice to kill or spare the majority of the main characters, the only exception being, well, Alphys. No matter what kind of run the player attempts, they have no choice but to deal with her. Throughout the game, the player gets the joy of interacting with her via automatic updates on the player's cell phone, forcing the player to stop everything that they're doing to read her shitty fucking tweets. It's tweet after tweet of her interactions with you.
Just met this human! Ha ha ha!
Among other boring generic tweets, Alphys is that fat white girl at your school, you know, the one that brings a dozen boxes of Pocky to every anime club meeting, as she fangirls over her shoujo OTPs and I hate it! Stealth Mission Award for Best Game Nobody Played. Transformers. Okay, so maybe it shouldn't have been $60, but it's Platinum Games, with music and voices from the 80s cartoon. The same score attack stylish beat-em-up gameplay they've been perfecting since Bayonetta, all wrapped into a nostalgia package. Strength and Sensitivity Award for Best Representation of Men. Metal Gear Solid 5. Listen, I wanted to add this award so I can talk about how I wanted to fuck video game characters. That's it. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Fuckable Pain, gets the award for Strength and Sensitivity. Fuck, I wanna fuck Big Boss in the ass! Too Long Didn't Read Award for Worst Writing. Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has many players ask the same question to themselves. Who fucking cares? For a game that markets itself for being open world, its dialogue loves to box the player with a dialogue wheel that gives players 4 different ways to say yes to every NPC. Nice and yes. Begrudgingly and yes. I can't accept this quest right now, and I'm an asshole, but yes. The game makes you do what you have to do to progress the plot, and everything else is filler. There's no reason to do anything else in the game besides the main quest. Your side quests are just there to fill time. Your character isn't a player character. He's Sean's father, ex-soldier married to a lawyer wife that is good and helps people. I really wish there was more to say about Fallout 4, but that's about it, really. I cannot think of anything else when it comes to the plot of this game. GAF Award for Worst Fan Base. Undertale. What's the deal with colorful franchises with quirky characters that make people autistic over them? Ever since the first public demo release, there were signs that the Undertale fanbase was going to end up pretty bad. Upon the game's release, it exploded into exponential numbers and spread all over the place. Undertale is the unholy union of furries and Homestuck fans. You think you've seen some shit? Let me give you a friendly warning. Ask Human Tale is just the tip of the iceberg, baby.